All right, you guys, I am back. I told you I needed to deal with the brakes that were a hot mess, so that's what I'm doing today. So here we are with the Saturn project. I know y'all are getting flooded with it all of a sudden after a complete lull. But again, I just have to stick to things that are not damaging, we should say, or straining till I get healed up from this car accident. I'm going to be doing brakes today. I've got the PowerStop drilled and slotted. I know a lot of people don't like these, but I had put them on my Civic previously and noticed a huge difference. And what the heck, you know, might as well give it a shot, see how it does. And we got our new pads because I don't know how, I don't know why, but I went through my pads in 10,000 miles. Something's definitely amuck. Originally, when I got the car, I thought it was the slider pins on the calipers, so I re-greased them and worked with them really well to see. But they had already taken their toll on the rotors themselves. They definitely needed to be changed, hence I ordered these, but I thought I had a little bit more time to go ahead and swap everything over. Well, I am critical right now when it comes to pads, so we're just going to go ahead and do everything now. The rotors just made them wear too fast because the rotor was so demolished. Maybe. Am I having issues with bad brake fluid? Maybe. I'll be addressing that when I can get an extra set of hands to help me bleed the system. Or was it a matter of my brake hoses collapsing? This I don't know. Apparently it's common in these as they age. So I've already got a set of brake hoses, but I'm going to do first things first, what's easy, what I can handle without an extra set of hands here. I mean, yeah, I know I can probably bleed them by myself. There's methods, but it's been cold and I really don't want to have to deal with all that extra time. So I'm just going to do this first, new pads, new rotors, seat them in properly, and see how everything behaves. If I notice any dragging, then boom, I park the car and I start swapping brakes and bleeding the brake system. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy jacked up. I've already broken the bolts loose on the, or the lug nuts loose, so we're good there. And as always, for safety's sake, get yourself jack stands. Okay. I'm taking it up a little bit more so that I can raise this one. And I got this little guy with the nylon coating so I wouldn't risk damaging the new paint. All right, what we're going to be doing is removing our caliper pin bolts that hold the caliper on. That may not be the correct term. Anyway, they're 14s. You're also going to do the rotors. We've got our 15s, our caliper bracket bolts, so they'll be getting broken loose as well. I love this little guy from Harbor Freight. I know, Harbor Freight and their tools. Some are a hit, some are a miss. But it's extendable, so yeah, don't judge me on the gloves. I'm just trying to get rid of some old ones. Might as well use the yicky ones when you're going to get them super yicky and go through a ton of them. And these little slider pins have, they're not perfectly round, these ends, so they actually lock into the caliper themselves. So that's how you're able to do this and they don't keep spinning. So when you reassemble, you're going to want to pay attention to their orientation. Okay. Just loosening it up a little bit. Okay. I don't typically like to stick screwdrivers up inside of stuff just because I don't want to damage everything. Well, see, these pads aren't bad. Not really. So there's definitely something going on that other side. Got our little hanger here. Oh, what about a frame? I'm going to tie this caliper up so that there's no damage to the brake hose while I'm working on it. See what I did there? That way I don't have to worry about any pressure occurring. But yeah, I've got a relatively decent amount of pad on there. So there's definitely something amiss on that driver's side. So everything looks like it's wearing even. Same of it. Want to see? I've got grooving, and that's because of the rotor itself. And that's what's got me concerned about the other side. Oh, I guess my thumb busted through. Anyway, the one thing you will notice about these guys is pay attention to their orientation. You've got your little clip over here on this side, which is normally, I want to say, your squealer for when you're low. And see, I have not been making such noises except on one side. And this one looks like it's wearing pretty well. Okay, so pay attention to your inside and outside so that you orient the new ones correctly when you go to put them in. Notice, depending upon how yours were changed, how new your car is, you may have little retaining rings on one or more of your lug nuts. And that's what keeps that from happening. In my case, obviously they're not the OEM rotors. They've already been replaced. So somebody took them off and didn't put them back on. So I'm not going to have to mess with that foolishness. What we're going to move on to now is these 15s. Maybe you guys can see them better. We've got here and here. And then we should be able to pull this guy off. Okay. Made sure I had everything that would fit. I've got this, another Harbor Freight. This is actually a Quinn product. It's an extendable breaker bar. So I use it at the junkyard frequently because it packs well and it extends and has done a bang-up job on wheel lugs. So it has no problem. Okay, I just moved the caliper around. It was its hose. I could conceivably just undo the bracket holding the caliper hose and move everything around, but I'm trying to be careful of the ABS. I don't want to put any undue stress on it, so I'd rather not remove that if I don't have to. All right. It's always nice when somebody's been here before you, and things are in good shape with no rust. I know you folks in the Rust Belt are groaning at me right now because this is definitely not how your day goes. I'm doing things like this. That was fun. Yeah, my car was oh, okay, so it's bolted to the front. So this is what happens when I was trying not to put my head in there. So yeah, be warned, that will happen. She will pop loose like that. Okay, so then this goes inside here. Okay, cool. Never done this before on this car, so I'm learning. And I may or may not do a little touch up on the paint if it doesn't want to clean up. So, and easy peasy. Now, take a look while you're in there. You may want to clean off any rust and go through with some brake clean. Just clean these areas up. Kind of scrub it down. Trying not to get all that on the painted calipers. Might as well clean it up a little bit, you know? And I forgot to mention earlier, be wearing these, please. You don't want dust and chemicals and whatnot flying in your face. And if you wondered about your ABS wheel speed sensor, looks like that's where it goes in. And there's a little connector back there. I wasn't sure if these were integrated into the hub or how they exactly worked, so I don't know if when the rotor's on how easy that is to get a hold of, but there you see where it is. Again, I'm just trying to make it somewhat presentable. Take a look at all your bushings, make sure they look good. I had just replaced these tie rods, and that was from when I filled everything up, but it's not a bad idea if you have greasable ends, which this guy is not, to go ahead and do some greasing of your parts if they haven't been done recently. There are a couple different methods for running your pistons in. I've been doing the C-clamp method for years, and then I saw on a YouTube channel this little tool, and I decided to order it and give it a shot. If I remember correctly, it was on Ray's channel. He's down in Florida, and he has some really good content. If y'all haven't checked him out, you should look him up. But he suggested this little tool, so I am giving it a shot. You basically use it, and it expands. You see right here, it's pushing out its threads, and it's actually very carefully and gently pushing your pistons back in evenly, because with a dual piston system you always run the issue of not being able to get them to go in evenly, and so you're fighting because the fluid will go from one piston to the other, to the other, to the other, and they'll keep on coming out. So the idea is to get an even swap it to loosen it back up, to get that even press on both at the same time. So yeah, so that worked pretty good. This is the one I picked up on Amazon. Hang on, I'll grab the box. Of course, like everything you find on Amazon, made in China, but that's who it is. It's 5 Bananas brake caliper spreader, and it's got different size that you can put on there. You know, assuming for a system that maybe has additional pistons, but this little one that it came with worked perfect for these if I use the old brake pad in the process. So yeah, so that's all collapsed and ready to go. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit and check back in with you. Okay, so I got the caliper cleaned up, and I've basically just been doing the sorry, camera shifted. Just been doing the degreaser and whatnot on it to not hurt the finish. I am not going to change these guys out because, like I said, it's only been 10,000 miles. They are in great shape as far as no rust, no corrosion. There was a coating on them, and they're still on there, and it's in good shape, so I'm just going to let that be. But what we do want to do is take a look at these the slider pins. Now, I'm just going to pull it out like that, and you see how it gets all black and nasty and icky. Just want to wipe this off. You can As my gloves are just disintegrating. You don't have to go too crazy, but I'm just getting a little bit in case there's any dirt or debris that kind of got in there. It shouldn't, because you have this dust boot. And note the orientation of the dust boot. When you pull it off, you want to get all this off the shoulder and everything. All this goop. This is what keeps the caliper properly sliding in and out with the piston as it moves hydraulically. So just clean out the inside of that. Not rocket science. And there is a up, down, right, left to these guys, so just do one at a time. Okay, yeah, there's our words. That was what was up top. All right, and then I use what Eric the car guy recommends, this 3M silicone paste. I don't use the Permatex stuff or any, ooh, wow, we're dribbling, or any of that. I just stick with this. He's a Honda tech and has been relying on this stuff for years and hasn't had any issues. And all I can say is when I got this Vue, I don't know what the heck got used prior, but it was like awful and dry and gross, and like I said, things were not properly sliding on the other side. Okay, just want to make sure it will go and seat properly all the way. I'll wipe up anything that spooches out. Oh, there you go. It's working properly. Okay, and I will do the other side. This one required a little bit of finesse to pull out. See, it has that indentation words. It's got this little rubber piece on here that GM used, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get in and out. It won't slide in and out as easily as the other one did for service. I can't retain everything for all these cars I work on. I don't know how mechanics do it, although granted they don't, that is their job. That's all they do day in and day out. Me, I do a little bit of everything. They say jack of all trades, master of none. That's what I feel like some days. But even just, you notice how nasty everything was, and I'm the one who added this silicone paste last time at only 10,000 miles, and it's that gross already. So those pads are at half-life on this side. Other side, I don't know. We shall see. Well, I shall see. I don't know if I'm ready to share that carnage with you guys or not. There we go. Maybe we will, just for the learning experience, but and again, just test him. Yeah, see, no worries. Okay. These are some good quality gloves. They come out of the package like this. Oh my God. Okay, gloves apparently do have a shelf life, just so you know. Yes, these are directional. Note it says front passenger side. Look for that. Make sure you put the right ones in the right place. Making sure y'all are in frame. Voila. Now what we will do for our sanity, we'll just run one of the lug nuts on so we don't have to deal with this guy flopping around like a complete ninny while we're working. Okay, and what I am going to do is go ahead and clean that surface down with some brake clean. A lot of times they oil these things for storage, and you don't want that getting on your brake components. So I just sprayed the brake clean on here. There. Okay. Alrighty. I hate gloves. I really, 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 really hate wearing gloves. Okay. You always want to start these guys by hand. Sorry if I'm in your way. Again, sorry for all you folks in the Rust Belt. This is entirely too easy. Again, another good thing, like being able to extend it can get a little more leverage. And yes, again, like I said earlier, your pads are directional, so pay attention when you take them off as to which orientation they go. But you can see what kind of life I still had left in these guys. They were only at their half-life. You definitely have gone longer on them. And we're going to want to use that same silicone paste to lube up any of our joints. Hang on. I like to put it on our friction contact points. Don't get it on your rotor. Okay. You're going to want to put those little ears into the corresponding little ears on these little clamps that go on there. Okay, a little bit of paste on here. I mean, again, I'm not really worried about rust here, but I do like any friction points to not chatter and chat while I'm driving. And this little arm is going to get in your way ever so slightly, so you just kind of have to work it behind. It's the other reason I like to reuse these brackets since they were new. I've already squeezed and pushed and manipulated them one time around already to get them to fit properly. And again, since they were in pristine condition, these gloves, there's no sense in going through all the melodrama. All right, now there's going to be a few points on here that our caliper touches on this pad surface. So we're going to want to take note of that and put the silicone paste there. It's also not a bad idea to put the silicone paste on your piston boots in your caliper, so that if you have, like on my other side where I may have some massive issues, can you all see? Yeah. With that sliding in and out, you don't deal with any binding of the boot going back in. The Hondas tend to have a more accordion style. There we go. More accordion style of boots. And so I definitely have to lube them up. Again, this has not been bad on this side at all. Everything's been in real good shape. So now you're going to want to move this in. Remember I talked about these guys? See that flat spot right there? And this one has a flat spot here, and on the other side, that's going to want to orient to that. So you want to turn those guys so they orient. All right, hang on. There. He's wanting to lock up just a little bit, but him turning is not important. See, since we fully expanded, I don't need the rubber glove, there we go. Since we fully expanded the pistons back into their bore, see how easy that just, boom, went right on? All right, get your 14 millimeter, and we're just gonna put these in, bit like that. Okay, so you're gonna have to maneuver these, wiggle until you get them to catch into the threads, because there is a little bit of wiggle room. Like that guy. Let me back him back out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, you noticed I went the wrong way and then went the right way. Sometimes that helps to catch the hole. By actually screwing in the wrong direction, it'll sit into the shoulder, keep you from cross-threading. So use that trick. I don't know where I learned it from, but sometimes every little bit helps. Oh, and when you're putting the caliper back on, because you've had it moving around in here, don't get this twisted. Just make sure that it's in its natural course. I didn't show you all that, but you don't want to flip this around too many times and cause a bind in that. So be mindful of it. And again, we checked our pins to make sure they moved in and out. Again, we can see they're moving in and out. So we're good there. These you don't have to as much. Again, everybody's moving good. Yep, we're not dragging, we're in good shape. Okay guys, so that's basically all there is to it. Sorry I kind of drug on in a few spots, but you know, I try to dispense a little bit of extra to let you guys know. Yeah, nice and doity. Anyway, so that is basically the procedure when everything goes according to plan. Now, I will probably do a little bit of filming on the other side just to show y'all the absolute atrocity that I fearfully am trying to prepare myself to see on the other side. But you see how little that side wore. So I definitely was not ready for pads. I was in good shape. So, yeah. There's a little sneaky peeky. Do you see? Look at all that wear. This no good. No good. Something to be bad. Okay. Just thought I would let y'all see the other side. I got it done. And the carnage was a wee bit gnarly. Now y'all saw the other side was only halfway. Now this had started the last little bit chewing into the rotor on the outside. Inside it didn't, but you see how horribly grooved these are. Yeah. Still had a little bit, not much, but just a scotch of pad left on the inside. Looks like it was wearing even and level. Now my other side, again, it has a slight cant, not much, because it had just started getting into the metal. But again, I don't know why one side had a half pad and the other side had this. Yeah. And this plate had come loose, so when I checked on it, it looked like I had more pad than I did. But, yeah, talk about getting your full use out of your pad. Holy sheesh. But that was that last bit where I heard it grinding. That's what it was, those last few miles where it didn't want to let go. The pads that are new went in no problem. I was able to get the pistons to retract fully, no issues. So I'm going to give it a shot before I throw in the towel and say, hey, I'm going to do calipers or I'm going to do brake lines. I'm just going to give it a shot. I'll have to check it and, I don't know, the next oil change and see where I'm at, see where I'm wearing. But I am pleased because last time I was wearing like way cockeyed. It was really, really crooked. I had a massive slope in the pad. Now I did notice one of those caliper pins, even though I thoroughly cleaned it and I greased the ever-living crap out of it, it was still hanging up. Now, could that have been my issue? Was it not properly releasing and these pads were dragging? Maybe so. So I took it apart, and as I was cleaning it, I pulled this out. It's just a eyebrow brush. Anyway, but this was able to fit in there, and I was able to kind of scrub around, and I kept scrubbing and pulling it out, wiping out a paper towel, scrubbing it, pulling it out, wiping out a paper towel. So I got as much of the old gunk out as possible. Perhaps there was just so much nasty in there from the brake change that they didn't lube them properly before I got the car, and I didn't get it all out last time. I just assumed maybe that was the problem. I don't know, but yeah, this time I scrubbed the poops out of that little hole where the slide pin goes in, and scrubbed the slide pin clean of every bit of debris, and then greased it up extra. Not so much that it wouldn't go back in, and sometimes you have to be careful because these little boots will expand out, and you'll have to pick at them when you're putting them on to get the air to come out. So make sure you check that. I didn't say that before. Yeah, so I did that, and hopefully that helps. I mean, everything looks good there, so I'll just have to check in on it as it starts to wear and listen in for any funky noises. And always check your brake fluid. I don't know if you noticed how high mine is right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull a little bit out of there. So it's all the way at the tippy top. But I kind of pulled the cap and left it sitting on there to allow for the expansion. There's some people that say break the bleeder and let it come out there. It's all over the place. Anyway, just make sure that you check and pull out any extraneous brake fluid so that you, whenever you do your brakes, especially when you're in a severe situation like this, check that brake fluid. And I will be doing a brake fluid flush because that brake fluid is not too pretty looking. So at the very least, I'll be flushing it here shortly. Probably won't be changing any hoses or calipers just yet. But anyway, sorry for babbling. I just wanted to fill y'all in. That's what that situation was. And I'll let you know if I get any answers. But at least it's safe to drive again. Take care. And hey, if you like this, subscribe. You know, I'll be greedy and ask. All right, take care. Bye.